So we are back. My next guest has been on with me several times. I'm so excited about bringing him on because every time he comes on, it is so informative, and there's so much going on with this, especially right now. I have with me David Fisher, and he is the CEO of Landmark Capital Go Group. It's also known as Landmark Capital. Welcome back to the show, David.
I don't mean to be redundant, but thank you as always. It's really my pleasure to come and visit with you and your listening audience and tell them what's happening in the world.
Tell them what's happening in the world because it's somewhat scary.
Where do we start? The biggest news, besides Greece, and we're going to get into that, is China made a major announcement, the biggest announcement since 2011 right now. Today they announced it in Bloomberg News. They announced how much gold they've been buying. Now, just to put in perspective, in 2005, they announced the first time they were not going to buy treasuries on the open market and buy gold. So they didn't really have any gold publicly in the Chinese coffers, so to speak. So by 2010, they had 1,087 tons. They said they want to get 10,000 tons. In 2011, they said they want to get 10,000 tons by 2011. They're currently announced they're at 1,658 tons, and Bloomberg Business News speculates by the ramp up that they're buying, by the end of this year, they'll be at 3,500 tons. So they are buying gold very aggressively for a bunch of reasons, actually.
Well, we should really talk about those reasons because there's a lot about you talk about, which is this coming bail-in.
Yep.
You've written about it. You've got a white paper on it that you wrote. Listen up, everybody, because you know what? This is information for you. You can do with it what you want, but it's something that you might want to listen to because it could affect you big time. It could affect anybody. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the lines to the audience for everybody to get this. We want it to be in your hands. It's just for you to read. There's no obligation whatsoever. He does free consultations with everyone, and he likes to work with you and educate you. It's called The Coming Bail-In. How to avoid it from affecting you. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Talk to a little quickly, because, we have new listeners all the time that come in and listen to me. So tell them a little bit about you and your background a little bit.
I've been doing this 22 years next month, that'll be. So I know a little bit about this. I'm just starting in my career, I think. I'm big on education, helping people see the facts, and that's what that white paper and many other things that we put out does that. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. All the affiliates in my industry are similar to the BBB that we're all members of. ICTA, Industry Council of Tangible Assets, which is the watchdog within our industry and also watches the government on behalf of our industry. That's very important. We're certified members with them. Also with PCGS and NGC, we're members of them, and I'm a personal member of American Numismatic Association.
He's been on this radio show many times. You've also been on other radio shows all over. Go ahead.
KFYI, KFNX. I used to have my own radio program, KFN on 1510, a daily program. I've done quarterly programs. I've done local media. I've been on KFYI before several times with Jim Sharp. He went national, and I'm now on this national program. So done a lot of national radio currently, and also way back as early as 1993 when I first started my doing some national radio program.
And now here's what we're going to do. We have our lines open here. You can chime in if you want, but listen up. This is important information, and everyone's going to get this. It's the coming bail-in, how to avoid it from affecting you. 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. He does free consultations with everybody. His phone number, it's 602-287-9200. It's toll free, 877-448-2646. The website is landmarkgold.com. Okay, today's topic revolving around all of this is what? Besides the United States compared to Greece, what's going on?
Well, this is all revolving around, if you look what's going on in Greece and look at what's going on in China and also the world in gold, there is something that's telling us about the future. It says governments can't pay their way anymore because the world's upside down. We're $18.2 trillion in debt. We're borrowing. The government's borrowing from their own funds now. They just did it in March. They borrowed from the Civil Service Retirement Fund. So that's not the first time. They borrowed $46 billion 2 years ago. So countries cannot afford to pay their way, so they're either borrowing and or borrowing from their people. It's really not a borrowing, it's called a bail-in. It's happened in 12 countries in 5 years. So they're doing that. They're going to be inflating their currency, and that's one reason why China is buying a lot of gold. Gold is undervalued today compared to other times in the marketplace, compared to other asset classes. The stock market is at all-time highs. And I'm not against the stock market, I'm just saying you shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket. So with that, China has been aggressively buying gold because they want to be a currency that will compete with the US dollar. If not, in addition to that, they might want to become, and they've said this, they want to become the world reserve currency. So how you do that? You back your currency by gold, because there's no country doing that anymore. Switzerland doesn't even do it. So we walked off a gold standard in 1971. If you look at a devaluation of the dollar chart, that's when the dollar started devaluing. And that's soon after that, that's when it did, one person working in the family unit didn't make ends meet and two people have to go to work. Now we're beyond that. And so this is a product.
Now we all have 8 jobs.
Yeah, 8 jobs, and they pay
and we still
half what
can't
they should
afford
do.
And we still have to pay up the gazoo for our
Exactly.
insurance.
So the world is not trusting the dollar because they're not trusting the United States and its debt structure. And we are so very similar to Greece. We're on the same road. In fact, the New York Times, right there in my, the topic says, think Greece can't happen here? You're wrong. This is July 5th. New York Times. It was in Bloomberg News this last week. It's all across the media. People connect the dots. Our country is really financially bankrupt. In fact, Bill O'Reilly said 2 years ago, we're already bankrupt, just like Greece. We just haven't admitted it yet. So people who are very well respected are saying these things, and that's what this report says, the bail-in, because the country can only get out of debt one of 3 ways. Default on it, and they're not going to do that. They would have done that in 2008. Print money and cause inflation, devalue our currency, and it's a subtle way of stealing people's money, and they're really talking about that because the Fed's talking about raising interest rates. Or do what's been popular in Europe in these 12 countries, take from their people their retirement, their pensions, and their bank accounts, and it's called a bail-in. And that's the road that our country is aggressively now head down and setting it up. We've devised a way where you don't have to be susceptible to that. If they do the bail-in and you have gold in your portfolio, and we're going to talk about that a little bit after the break, then they can't access your money because you're in physicals. If they don't do that and they inflate like they're talking about doing, like the Carter years, we had double-digit interest rates, gold went up 500% in 5 years, so you're protected both ways. That's the portfolio of gold. But what's getting ready to happen is the dollar's overvalued compared to other currencies by index. So it's going to probably move down. In fact, they were just talking on this on the news. I listened to Fox News on the way in here. They were saying these things. So countries are preparing for a dollar devaluation coming. As soon as the Fed starts raising interest rates, the dollar will devalue. When the dollar devalues, it makes it hard for companies to make money. They can, yeah, sell products abroad, but internally their money becomes worth less. So when the dollar devalues and countries are holding this U.S. world reserve currency called the dollar, they lose money. So this is why China is preparing for the future by buying gold, and other countries are preparing for the future to buy gold because the United States dollar is going to devalue.
So we need to buy gold personally.
The country's not going to do it for you, so you have to do it for yourself.
Now, before we go to a break in less than a minute, I
Yep.
want you to talk a little bit about how what you have help them so that they understand that and what the process is, real quickly.
The process is simple. It's something I created. It's in our literature. It's called the financial blueprint. You wouldn't dare build your house without a blueprint, without a plan. It'd be a disaster. Yet people do it all day long, and they're planning for their finances. So there's hardly ever you hear about a blueprint for your money, but that's what I put together for every individual that comes to our company. We assess their risk tolerance, we assess what their goals are, what their concerns are, and then we educate them on the 4 distinct markets that they have choices in, tell them what their benefits, drawbacks are in those markets. They get to make a choice with their eyes wide open. They're engaged in their money, just like they'd be engaged in building a home.
And they have control.
And they take possession of their metals.
Now, We're going to go to a break. When we come back, they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. He does free consultations with everyone. We're going to come back. We're going to talk further about what you could do and how you can help them and direct them a little bit in helping them make their decisions on that. Their number is 602-287-9200. Toll free 877-448-2646. It's landmarkgold.com. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back. We are talking with David Fisher, and he is the CEO of Landmark Capital Gold Group, and we are talking a little bit about this coming bail-in that we've been talking about for a while now that you've been coming on, and it's every time you come on, I mean, my eyes get really big because I know it not only what you say, I understand it. If I understand it, anybody can understand it, right? But also that it started, watching the news and things like that and seeing it start to really happen and fold a little bit, which is so scary.
Yeah, can you imagine in the United States, it's been 3 weeks now, you can't even go to the bank account and go into your bank. It's all shut down. That's what's going on in Greece. I mean, there's a lot of similarities with Greece and us, and there's also things that we probably will never see what is happening in Greece in the United States. And I don't want to say never, but the probability is highly unlikely. But there's a lot of similarities because when you look at our spending habits, we have the same spending habits of Greece. When you look at what we've given as appropriations for people like Medicare, Medicaid, and all the unfunded liabilities of our country, it's at $102 trillion. That's way higher than Greece, significantly. So that's the alarming thing. We've made promises to people and promises to other countries that we're going to pay back them the money that they lent us. That in itself is worse than Greece. Greece cannot pay their debt back. Even if this deal that goes through looks like it's going to go through, I'll make a prediction. They're going to have problems within the next 3 years. They're going to go back and ask for more money, and they're going to have their debt written down. There's nobody that will allow us to write our debt down. That's why we have a printing press. So our way out of this mess will be to print like crazy, and that's the problem that hits Americans in their pocketbooks. That's why you got to have gold, so that if the government bails in, you have gold outside the system. If the government just prints like crazy, which they've shown they're going to do, and they're going to do a lot more of it, you got to have gold to protect yourself against the devaluation of the dollar. That's the key to metals.
Now, he does free consultations with everyone. He's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Doing this for how many, 25, 30 years now?
22.
22 years. And our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. We want everyone to get his white paper. He wrote it. The coming bail-in. How to avoid it from affecting you. It's information. There's no obligations. It's something for you to get and read. And then if you're interested, you could talk to him. Again, our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. You do financial blueprints for people,
yes,
so you can help us who, we should know what we're doing. We should have an idea of it, and so that's how you help us by making some decisions together and making our own decisions with that, so we have control of our money.
Yes.
Okay? And I want to know about with somebody who has already, they have an IRA, they have an IRA,
yes,
right? That already has metals. What do they do?
Well, there's two ways of doing this, and this is in our literature. When it comes to rolling over money into a qualified plan, there's no taxable events, there's no penalties. There's two ways of where your metals are stored. And I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't know that you can actually take physical possession of your metals within the retirement plan. So we talked to a lot of people who have already rolled over their metals from another company and didn't know, or the other company didn't know, because only about 5% of the companies in the industry are doing this right now. It will grow, it'll become 10% probably next year, and pretty soon it'll be probably a main thing. But if their metals are probably stored in Brinks in their retirement, or Delaware Depository Servicing Company. If they do, and those are government regulated depositories. So think with me, the government does a bail-in.
Don't they get those too?
Okay.
I was just going to say.
Thank you very much. And how do you really know it's there? There's no report that you get as the investor of the IRA that says you got metals there, and we did an allocation, an inventory, third party every year. You don't get anything like that. In fact, in my industry, unfortunately, there was a company a couple years ago that didn't deliver the metals to the third-party depository. Scary. And there is no requirement on the depository to send the information saying, we received the metals to the client.
So you're telling me with something like that, you don't have to have a contract that's signed?
I'm saying in a third-party depository, it has already happened, and it's already happening in Fort Knox. The gold's not there. We don't let anybody in to do the accounting, and there's nobody that goes into the accounting of your depository that says your gold is there. Now, I don't want to scare people. I'm sure most of the gold is there, but I can say very confidently probably all of it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if the government did do the bail-in, you're stuck. So we advocate the other way of doing it. Well, we advocate you understand both ways and then you choose. Most of my clients are choosing the local depository, which is they hold the metal. So if you're listening to me right now and you've already done this, you've already talked to another gold company, maybe it's a few years ago, it's not the end of the world for you. You should call my office. I will help you learn how you can get your gold in your hands. So it can be done. In fact, I advocate people do it. We just did this last week with one person that just heard us on the radio already. It's already in process. So we do this all the time. It's not anything brand new to us. It's nothing magical, but most companies don't know how to do it. But the ones that do, here's the key. They charge between $995 to $1,995. There's a company up in here in Arizona that charges $1,995 for their legal services to do this. Ours is done through a third-party lawyer. We've been using him for 5 years, I have, and he charges $350. So our fees are going to be a lot less. So it's really, and that is the fee, and I'm going to give an offer out now. This is the month of independence. This is the month of celebration. You should celebrate your independence by getting this done for yourself. And we're going to help you take care of that $350 fee. If you have an IRA for the month of July, you call us and you get the process going. You don't have to get it going the day we talk. I want you to learn about it. But within the month of July, you get the process going. We will take care of that $350 fee on behalf of you.
His number is 602-287-9200. Toll free, it's 877-448-2646. His website is landmarkgold.com, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. It's a free consultation. Give him a call. And you can also call here. We want you to get connected with him. It's the coming bail-in, how to avoid it from affecting you. 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So, we had talked about this at the break, the idea of everybody getting their gold. It's like cash is king, you know, except they're pieces you can look at. I guess they're coins.
Exactly.
Or are they more than that? Are they coins? Are they bricks? What are they?
Most people buy coins. We go over that. That's part of the financial blueprint. You're aware of what your goals are. Obviously, we help you define your goals if you don't know them, and we give you your choices. So most people, I'd say 99% of our clients buy coins.
They're pretty.
Yeah, we go over that together, and we go to a third-party price guide so they see that they're getting value, and then we build a relationship. Because it's like anything else. Most people don't understand, so we're big on helping you understand. And what this does is it puts you in power of your future, because something is going to happen. The government is not going to stay at $18 trillion in debt. It's going to grow. And there is no plan for it to come out of debt. So at some point, the world is going to say, I've had enough with the problem of the United States not facing their financial problem. That's what Greece is going through. Our unfunded liabilities are so much larger than the rest of the world. We will face this someday. I don't know when. Nobody knows when. But it happens, some financial calamity or challenges happen every 7 years to 8 years, and we had the last one in 2008. So we're about due for another one. And this is why leverage money caught us again in 2008. It's going to catch us again. So this is why the government has prepared for a bail-in. The FDIC is prepared. They wrote about it on FDIC.gov. The International Monetary Fund has wrote about it in a 107-page report on how the government of the United States needs to do a bail-in. And the Wall Street Journal said, for the bail-in for America, the United States will take from Americans 56% of their retirement and bank account.
Tell them your giveaway for July.
Free giveaway We'll waive your fees for a 100K or more IRA rollover, whether you've done this in gold already or in paper, you're still there, or 401K. We'll take care of all your fee structure and setting it all up. It'll be turnkey, and this is for the month of July. Call us, we'll tell you all about it.
It's 602-287-9200. It's landmarkgold.com.